Islam and greetings. Princeanaelbey, Divine Prince of the Divine Theocracy of the Moorish Science Temple of America through Temple Alhambra. And I pray that you all are doing well. I'll begin this video by briefly answering the question from a viewer, and it had to do with the term Nasara and Nazarene. Okay, Nasara it's Greek, and it's Greek for man from Nazareth. Okay? Now, Jesus grew up in the same place where I was born. He grew up in the city of Galilee. Galilee is now called Detroit, in the land of Galilee, which is now called the state of Michigan. And again, the term Michigan means a place to commit crimes under secrecy and concealment, because Galilee is where Yeshua was nailed to the cross, right up the road from his uncle David, King David, right up the road near the city of Galilee. That is where Jesus was nailed to the cross. And the term Nasara, it means man from Nazareth. And let's see. Nasara were also folks who called themselves Nasara. They called themselves that. And they believed that Christ was the Son of God. And by now you should know that Christ means anointed, one who is anointed. Now the actual one who was later called Jesus, he was not anointed. He was actually appointed to come to earth to show man the possibilities of man. That is why Melchizedek was chosen to come here. And he was named Yeshua. And Christ, as you all know, is Julius Caesar. And it has been bandied about as lore, legend, truth, etc., that Jesus Christ died on the cross. And that is not true, for it is Julius Caesar who was Jesus the Christ. And Jesus the Christ did not die on the cross. Jesus the Christ, Julius Caesar, he died on the steps of the Roman Senate with knives and daggers in his body from all of his beloved honchos, all his partners. That is how Jesus the Christ died. Because Yeshua, the one who really was Jesus, he didn't die at all. He returned home in spirit form on the plane of things made manifest. As those guards that the Pharisees put around that cave that they put him in. You see, they were hoping that he would die. That is why that guard, he pierced his spleen. It is the spleen that helps the body heal. They didn't want him to heal. And stop lying on the Romans. The Romans had nothing to do with it. It was the Pharisees, those who helped create the Bible, the Judeo-Christian Bible. It was the Pharisees who did that to Jesus, not the Romans. So stop blaming the Romans. Pontius Pilate, he didn't want to have anything to do with that. Because the true soldiers of Rome, they were just that, soldiers. They weren't murderers. Pontius Pilate. At any rate, they believed, excuse me, Raxa, you see me in the middle of this, yes? Thank you. That's enough. Thank you. And so that is, and Nazarene, getting back to the question, pardon the interruption. Nazarene was the name given by the Israelites, who then became known as Jews. You see? Nazarene, it was a name given by the Jews to Jewish Christians. Jewish Christians. These are Nazarenes. And in some versions of the Bible, you may read the Bible, some holy scripture, you may read where little Yeshua's parents told him that he was pledged to the Nazarenes. He was going to be a Nazarite. That sounds a little suspiciously goofy to me, but it does help to lead a people to believe that Yeshua was a Jew. But at any rate, I wanted to bring you that. Pardon all of the interruptions and deviations, viewer. But again, nothing exists in a bubble. This relates to that, as that relates to this, and so on until you get to the truth. Nothing exists in a bubble. Not this so-called pandemic, not the fear-mongering, not what they are doing to you, because you're going to see the results of having you wait to see your future, which is going to be brought to you by the big corporations of the world. I pray I'm wrong, but at any rate, I pray that at least touches on some aspect of your answer, dear viewer, and I thank you for the question, and I pray that I get more. Now, moving on, in the interest of keeping you all informed, and sometimes I may even be behind, but I do not claim to be a newspaper reporter. My name is not Scoop Bay. So, but as I get the information, and I have different sources in different places. I just want you all to remain at least informed. And I thank you all. Oh, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because I'll pretty much forget that. And let me start with, the stimulus checks. Now, the last time we visited the stimulus check issue, you all were going to get your $1,200, and if your dead relatives checks came to you, you may keep those. And now there is a bill. I want you Asiatics to pay attention to what I'm about to tell you, especially if you wear the lashes and the marks of being a Democrat. Because ain't nowhere in the world you're going to tell me that your life has changed for the better under them. But that's for another day. But right now, I want you to pay attention. I want you Asiatics and you amalgamated Moors who proclaim that you are a Democrat. I want you to pay attention to some things because I want to get you to thinking. If I can just get you to thinking, I want you to pay attention. Where your stimulus checks are concerned, there is a bill. There is a bill. And this bill will give Americans $2,000 per month. Per month. For up to about 6 months. Check this out. Check this out. You are eligible to receive this allotment. If you are 16 and up, you will get $2,000 per month for 6 months. If you are single, you will get $2,000 a month. If you're married, $4,000 a month. Families with children will receive an additional $500 per child. Now, but there's a 3-child cap. If you got more than 3 children, you're cut off at 3 of them. You're only going to get $1,500 more. Now, because it's not income, it does not have to be declared if you are a taxpayer. If you pay tax, it's not declared as income. Therefore, you don't declare it as such because it isn't. It isn't income. Let's see. It will be based, and you're going to hear a lot of this, and a lot of people are going to freak out. I'm going to attempt to straighten this out before, a lot of people freak out on account of it. Let me see. It'll be based on your 2018 and 2019 tax return, okay? And even if you were unemployed, okay, and you submit your tax forms, okay? And now, remember, this is a proposed bill. It's a proposed bill. And what I want you all to pay attention to is who stalls that bill. I want you to pay attention to who does this. Is it the Democrats or is it the Republicans? You pay attention to who stalls that bill. Because now let me tell you what the Democrats are prone to do. And it is not a knock against them. It is simply a known tactic. That is how long they've been running this weak-ass game. What's going to happen? The Democrats are going to hold that bill hostage. And they're going to lie to those walking zombified under the banner of the Democratic Party. They're going to hold it hostage because the Democrats want control. That is why they are for big government. They want to control every aspect of your life. But see, living on that plantation, you've been there so long, you don't even know you're a slave. But I just want you to pay attention to who stalls that bill. It is a proposed bill to give you $2,000 extra a month. What the Republicans did and what they are proponents of, as any party that is for the people would do. If you all haven't heard, and it is not a myth, nor is it a rumor, nor is it an urban legend, you don't have to pay your mortgage. And if you pay your rent to a real estate agency or an outfit similar to that, you do not have to pay your rent, because this is what the Republicans know. You can't pay rent when you are making no dollars. There are no businesses open, and so that would be an impractical as well as an impossibility for one to do. And what the Republicans have done is they have proposed this bill. Now, I want you to pay attention to see how the Democrats really feel about you, because they're going to politicize this. You need food, and the Democrats are playing with your lives because they want to play politics. Pardon me again. Raxa, behave yourself. You better take that bass out your voice, boy. I said that's enough. I'll deal with you when I finish with this. Pay attention to what happens with this bill. Now, it has been proposed. It's ready to go. All that is necessary is the right side of the aisle says, let's get this done. Let's do this for the people. Because those of you walking zombified under the banner of the Democratic Party, this is what I want you to look for. See what happens with this proposed bill. The Republicans are behind it 100% because it's for you. It's for you. You want to see how the Democrats treat it, because how they treat that proposed bill is what they think about you. You are nothing but a piece on a chessboard. You mean nothing to them. You mean absolutely nothing to them. Otherwise, the bill would have been passed and signed that same day, wouldn't it? But you Democrats, in the words of Messy Jackson, up with hope. Up with hope. And I've already told you that hope is an acronym for hold on to your pitiful expectations. That is what hope is. Like I said, take a page out of the slavery book, since you all act like you actually live their lives. Take a page out of their book. Be a runaway slave from the plantation. Be a runaway slave. Let's see. There are other things that I need to make you aware of. Yes. Um, yeah, I sincerely pray that the Democrats do not block this bill by playing politics with people's lives. Now, again, I just want you to think. A group of people who are not you, if they could do this during a time of crisis, the world is in crisis. For a group of people to do this to their own people in their own land, this is who you want to follow. This is who you want to support. You've got senile old men like Joe Biden. He can't form a sentence, but you vote for him simply because he's not Republican. And if that's what you say to yourself, you have no idea how right you are. Again, a Republican form of government, which is what the United States told my uncle, Mohammed bin Abdullah before he signed the Treaty of Peace and Friendship and before he signed off on the Constitution for the United States. Before he signed off on that, the United States was supposed to be a Republican form of government. That is what it was supposed to be. A Republican form of government. And a Republican form of government is a government that is for the people, made up of the people. That's you and your neighbors. And that will do right by the people. That is a Republican form of government. Not a few old people with white hair sitting in one place, making up rules for you while they live by a different set of rules. So you still want to be a Democrat, huh? Well, watch what happens with this proposed bill. That is all you have to do. And one of two things you will learn. Either Princeanaelbey is a liar, or you must face the truth. It can only go one of two ways. It can only go one of those two ways. That's it. That's it. Now, here, in the land of Egypt, and in this case, I mean what is now known as the state of Illinois, Governor J.B. Pritzker, so far, he's one of the more recent governors who hasn't gone to prison. Illinois governors, one of the few, last governors who haven't gone to prison. Anyway, this Democratic governor, he was looking at mandating that everyone in Egypt wear masks publicly. Now, it is so far relegated to public spaces. And, if you're riding with this thing, okay, I agree. If you're riding with this thing and you're out among the sheeple, by all means, pardon me again, Raxa, you are disturbing me. Enough. At any rate, Governor Pritzker, he wants everyone in the state of Illinois to wear a mask. Now, While I am watching and critiquing Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, I have got to give her honor 5 stars for this one. It is bandied about in the newspapers, especially here, how several counties have mandated. I want you all to understand, words mean what they mean, but they have their roots in other words. That is the importance of learning and knowing etymology. Because you see, the word mandate, the way it shall be interpreted by those who claim to enforce it, it is suspiciously, and I mean suspiciously close to simply standing up, extending your right hand on a 60-degree angle and saying Sieg Heil. So far, the Trump administration has already squashed that Bill Gates a wet dream about having people carrying cards like it is 1945 Germany. Or Germany, we're talking about Germany. France, your papers. Your papers. I'm glad that the Trump administration put an end to that nonsense before it even got started. But yes, the governor wants everyone in Illinois to wear face masks. And the reason that I give Mayor Lori Lightfoot her 5 gold stars is because she refused to do that. And she did it, and I truly do think that she did it out of altruism. I truly do. This she can relate to, where the people were concerned, because she has not mandated it. She has not mandated it. And, you know, Chicago's not high on the list for new COVID cases or any of that. But the mayor, and rightfully so, she doesn't see any sense in making it a law that everybody has to wear a mask. And I commend her for that. That is good, solid judgment on behalf of the people. That is good, solid judgment. She gets 5 gold stars for that. Congratulations, Mayor Lightfoot. Now, a Republican state representative, Darren Bailey, out of Xenia, Illinois, he filed a lawsuit. And that lawsuit states that Governor Pritzker extended his stay-at-home order until May 30th. Now, this is what else Representative Bailey said. He said, enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. And he filed a lawsuit on behalf of his constituents, you know, who are ready to get back to work and get on with their lives. He is a Republican representative. He's down there in Springfield. He's a Republican representative. Look, if you are sick, yes, cover your face. If you are sick, masks are for the sick. Masks are for the sick. There is no reason to make everybody wear a mask, except, of course, if you want to use that as a barometer to measure how well your indoctrination examinations are going. See how far you can take the people. Well, I'm glad that enough Americans stood up and began protesting at these state houses Because enough is enough. Enough is enough. You've carried your hoax on long enough. And what now you want to do, you want to pay the people off. What you're not telling them is hush money. That's what you're not telling them. Well, being Americans and growing up in America before this thing hit, I believe, and I don't believe in anything, but I believe that the Americans who grew up here, they grew up under one banner. That banner had written across it, G-R-E-E-D. Now that's America. So, if you want to pay hush money, you're going to have to come up with a damn sight more than $2,000, and it's going to last a whole lot longer than any 6 months. Now, if you want to pay hush money. But, getting back to the good Republican governor out of Xenia, Illinois. See, it's time for people to become practical again. And some things are just too impractical, ridiculously so. And enough is enough. I mean, and I think I did speak to you before about these governors now have a free hand. They're making up these, they're calling them executive orders or whatever they're calling them. They are flexing. They're going to see how far they can take this. While some governors, and because I did not hear about them, and while I don't own the TV, I keep up on the regurgitated nonsense that passes for the news. And then I check. And then I recheck. And then I triple check. And if I have a resource in that area, I will learn. I will learn the truth of things. And some of these governors, and because you don't hear about them on the, on the lamestream news, you wouldn't, because they are Republican-run states. And many of them are relaxing these orders. You must comply. Is that any way to talk to a human? You must comply. Who talks like that? Who talks like that? You must comply. You're not in compliance. People don't talk like that to one another. That is not how humans communicate. Machines, that's how they communicate. Humans don't talk like that to one another. But you're seeing a lot of it, aren't you? Cops love to use it. You're not in compliance. That's no way to talk to another human. It's just not. Now, this I know you have not heard from the lamestream news. Were you aware that in some parts of the country that hospitals are laying off workers? Were you aware of that? Why else do you think they were applauded and lauded and held up on pedestals and just immersed in high esteem by the media? There are frontline people. There are heroes. See, they have to indoctrinate you to the propaganda. And again, I just want you to think. Now, if this pandemic was so bad and all the reports you've got in hospitals were filled to overflowing capacity, there are still no lines that I have seen taken by anybody's camera except these crisis actors, these agents. And if you see any such videos, that's who took them. Because the videos taken by real honest Americans who want to inform other Americans, they're showing you empty tents. They're showing you interviews with doctors who are basically told to lie, just like in my last video. It doesn't matter what you go to the hospital for. When you die, you're going to die of COVID-19. You're going to die. It doesn't matter what it is. That's how it's going down, which means that's how it's going to go down in the record book. And when they reach their goal, which I think is, I don't know, somewhere around the death toll from the Black Plague, or, 1918, and until it surpasses that number, they want to get in the record books. And when it surpasses that number, now, while I'm on this subject, I have informed you before. When you hear, oh, you could have it and then not have it and even be cured of it, or what have you. But it could still come back. Well, my question is, what's the sense in shooting people full of poison and calling it a vaccine if it's going to come back? Pardon me, Raxa, disappear. Why are you pumping poison in people? It's supposed to be a vaccine. They're being vaccinated against if it can reoccur. Because you see, at this point, if that were possible, now mind you, it's just a virus. Well, it's a virus of a strain that we've never seen before. Well, that's because whoever engineered it got a patent on it. The church owns it. And that is because the church owns all patents. The church owns it. Therefore, it had to be released, and somebody had to release it on orders from someone else. But they are getting rid of their staff. But they were heroes at the brink of this outbreak. They were heroes. And the hospitals, and on top of that, where you were once able to go to the hospital to visit your loved one, not anymore. You can't go see him. You can't go see Aunt Lucy. You can't go see Uncle Bob. They won't let you in. And that's because there's nobody to see. They're ghost towns. But you keep being scared. These fear mongers are working you up real good. You keep being scared. You're doing just what you're supposed to do. And you're wrong. Because the one thing that you are supposed to do is think. You were given one of these. And they work pretty good. Especially when you stress them and you test them. And you give it something to do. It's a miraculous piece of machinery. You have to turn it on. You have to turn it on. Aside from these hospitals being virtually empty, and you've got people And I'm sure they're good people. I hear them all the time. They're actually going for this. They are not using their own minds. They're really not. They are going along with the program. And a lot of these people are entertainers, and it's a shame, really. It's a shame. When anytime you go into a hospital nowadays and you die from COVID-19. Doesn't matter what you go in there for. Like I said, you go in with a gunshot wound, a fatal gunshot wound. You die from COVID-19. Why would that be necessary if all of this was on the up and up? Think, America. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And you be good to one another. You take care of one another. And you protect one another. I bid you peace.